Hey guys. So a good trading week this week. Very, very interesting trading week. So we got a lot to talk about here. Um, biggest thing to talk about is one, this massive 12-day or $12 2-day rally. So if on Wednesday when we closed right here below the daily 100 EMA, somebody would have told me, hey, SPY is going to close at 404.19 on Friday, there's no way I would have believed them. There's no way on Wednesday that I would have said, yeah, we for sure are going to see a $12 rally. Not only that, even Thursday morning, if you go back to Thursday here, I mean, before 130. There's nothing in my mind that would have said, yeah, we're definitely going to see a $12 rally this last 2 days, and we're definitely going to close way up here. There's just nothing, not one single thing. So where are we at now? Okay, so basically, let's talk about supply and demand first. So I've been talking, and I did a really good write-up in my daily or weekly TA tonight that really goes in depth on what supply and demand is. And if you guys are confused on that, go ahead and read that and just kind of see what you think and give me some have any questions, let me know. So I've been talking about how like just imbalanced and how off this market is. So basically where we're at now is Wednesday we established a new demand at 394.7. From here, I was saying that we either needed to come up and test the supply at 396.4 and then demand at 400.7 and either come back down to a new low at 388.5, or we needed to establish a new demand up here and then continue our push up. I did not expect us to continue to break through this 400.6 level. You can see how many times we have rejected off of it. And you can see back here how big of a level this was back in January when we were trading down here. So basically what happened now is we have officially taken out 400.6 demand. So now the only demand to the upside, which is resistance, is 405.8. So this would be a potential upside target. If tomorrow or later this week, really, we touch 405.8, we will take that demand out. And essentially what that does is that leaves a major resistance supply area up in this 414 to 417, but then it gives us a major support area down here at this 394.7 and 396.4 supply. So basically you just see we're in this like kind of massive, what's that, like a $20 range right here, which makes a lot of sense if you look at how we've traded now over the last 3 months, going on 2 months now. So a couple of scenarios here is that one, we come up here and touch 405.8, take out that demand, establish a supply, which is a resistance on this 405.3 major pivot level here, which then gives us an opportunity to come back down and hopefully take out 396.4 supply so we can continue our push up to the next supply. In general, you do not want to see a supply left down below. Like we have this 383.8 down here, as that is a magnet area that we could at some point come back down to take out that price action before we push back up. In general, you want to see, I mean, honestly, this is a good example of healthy movement. You want to see a move up, you want to see a retrace, a move up, a retrace, a move up, a retrace, a move up, and then consolidation for a next move. That's what you want to see. Obviously, this move down was none of that. It was just very erratic movement down. So at some point, I do think we'll come back down here and touch this support or the supply level at 396.4 to take that out. But we have to establish a new supply up here first. We broke through this daily bear channel, so that's very bullish. Essentially, my target for next week is 405.8. From there, there's definitely a real scenario where we come back up into this 410 to 414 area and kind of hang out there until CPI, which is on the 14th, so the next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. Or we could hard reject at this 405.3 level, which is a major level if you look back how many times we have rejected here. And then we come back down, take out supply, maybe establish a new demand down here before we push back up. Next week is extremely volatile in potential too. On Tuesday, we have Jay Powell speaking at 10 a.m. He's doing something with Congress. with some monetary policy or something. Wednesday we have, let's see, I'm going to read this out to you, make sure I don't tell you wrong. Wednesday we have ADP employment. I guess J-Powell is testifying on Tuesday and Wednesday. We have JOLTS on Wednesday. Thursday is jobless claims. And then Friday we have unemployment rate and employment rate. So very much so a big data week next week. So we could see a very volatile week. Looking over at the weekly here, we have a real nice breakout triangle here. So this kind of is the same thing that happened back here. So we could see another breakout and we could try to end up in this 420 range and do some movement up there, or we could end up losing this. But from a weekly technical price action standpoint, this is extremely bullish. So last week we had lost this, came down, had lost 20 EMA support, which I am actually beyond surprised didn't lead to a bigger sell-off, because anytime you lose the 20 EMA like this, I mean, you can see back here, HAP here, we lost it and we had a major sell-off. Let's see here, losing 20 EMA, major sell-off. I mean, anytime you lose a 20 EMA in the weekly, it's usually a pretty big sell-off. Same thing if you take it back, it's usually a big push up, as you can see right here, huge just pushes up right here, push up. So that's impressive in that fact. But basically we have a big weekly support at 395 and a big weekly resistance at 409.5. On a weekly supply and demand, we have support down here at 382.4, and then we have a supply resistance at 410.1. So that would be my target if we push up here for big resistance. This 407.2 to 412.2 is going to be a major resistance level. But on a price action standpoint, like I said, this is very bullish for a breakout here. However, like I said, with all this data next week, it could be we could be all over the place. It's going to be a very volatile week for sure. So taking a look at futures here, same thing. So I've been looking for this 39.15 to 39.20 bounce, and we did hit 39.25 on Thursday. I'm surprised we didn't fully hit it, but you know, it is a range down there. But today we bounced off this demand there down there at 39.56, and we have not looked back. So from a future standpoint, our last demand to take out would be right here at 40.95. Big level for sure. So if bulls can push up to 40.95 next week, that's going to be a major resistance level to watch. So that's about a 50-point move up, about 1.5% from here. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that level. We took back the daily 8, 50, 20, 100, 50, and 200 EMA. We broke through our bear channel also. So, I mean, everything is very bullish. But if you zoom out here, you can see we've done a lot of trading in this range here. So we could absolutely be establishing a very similar 39.35-ish to really 39.20 to 40.95 range here. So definitely something to keep in mind. Look at all this price action. This dates back to November. I don't want to count it right now, but I bet if you count it, I would say probably looking at this chart here, I would say 60 to 70% of price action has occurred between 39.20 and 40.95 since November. So this is a big level that we're in right now. Very big range to keep an eye on for sure. Taking a look at the weekly on futures here, same thing, very bullish double bottom. And not only that, but we also established a new demand down here at 39.75. So establishing a new weekly demand is a new support. Big thing here. That's a very bullish. So that means we came down and we have established a new higher support demand area. So from here, that would give us an opportunity to push back to previous supply, which is 41.35. So that would be my upside target if we have a big push. But again, this 40.95 level, as you can see how big it is going to be a major level to keep an eye on. I mean, going back here, this goes back to, and I talked about this back in 2022, but going back to May, I'd have to go back and find my article, but I'm pretty sure it was 75% of price action from May till December when I had wrote this, had all occurred in this range right here. And if you go back, I mean, look at this. This goes back to May 2nd, so that's what? Be 6 months plus 3. So we're going on month 9 here. And besides, maybe we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 2.5 months. So out of 8 to 9 months, 75% of the months have closed somewhere between 37.70 and 40.95. That's how much, this is how big this area is. This is why I have it highlighted the way I do in this gray area. It's a major level, or major consolidation. I mean, if you zoom out here, this is nothing but a major consolidation period. So taking a look at the VIX here, the VIX was very interesting. I'll see if I can find it on the 15-minute chart here. But we had some really weird movement end of day at 340. So I was watching it, or someone else had pointed it out too, but I was also watching it, and we had a low of 18.16, and then someone's like, "What? I thought the VIX was down like 5%," and we looked up, and the VIX had recoiled all the way back to 19.09, which put it down about 2%. And then it had given all right back and ended up obviously closing down about 5.71%. So that was a very interesting recoil on the VIX. I'm not sure what caused that. But taking a look at the VIX here, I mean, we are still in our downtrend. And something that's very important to note is this 18.2 level. Why is that important? Because if you remember, every time we touch 18.2, we get a big VIX recoil. Almost every single time. And interesting enough, this 18.2 level is when we see a major bounce. And this is when we started our leg down on February 16th, which is right here, February 16th. So big area for sure. Last little thing here is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin had tried to recover some of it. This is pretty close to a daily 200 EMA at 21.7K bounce. Not quite there yet. Looks like we bounced, wow, exactly off 22,000 to the penny. That's pretty interesting. But we're losing the 50 EMA right now. We're obviously in a bear trend down on crypto, but this seems like one of those non-stock market related cryptos. Something that some people are talking about, which makes a really good point, is all this money coming out of Bitcoin here is potential to go into the stock market. I mean, if you look at tech today, tech had some of the biggest gains I've seen in weeks. I mean, Apple put in a 3.5% day. That's something we haven't seen in quite a long time. I mean, Meta was up 6% today. Some really big movements from the tech world today. So could see some money come out of crypto and some risky assets to go back in the market. Overall, I would say I'm bullish back to pretty much 40.95. From there, I'm not really sure where we go, honestly. Even 405 is going to be a big level to watch for Monday. With all the speakers next week and all the data, we very well could see quite a large rejection, but we also could see quite a big breakout. I believe, and I'd have to go back and check to see exactly what time Jay Powell spoke or what day this happened, but I almost remember Jay Powell speaking last year at the same time, and it was a 2-day monetary policy much like this. And if I remember correctly, SPY went on a massive 2-day pump. I believe it was back in March too, in like the early beginning of March. I'll try to go back and see if I can figure out what days that was, but I believe it was right around this time period here. So I'll have to see if I can find that this weekend to see if that was what happened or not. That might give us a little hint of what could happen on Tuesday and Wednesday when he speaks. So, all right, I hope you guys had a good day trading this week, and I will see you guys next week.